some of y'all may know, my dad was unalived by his wife 3 years ago. And guess what? I know everybody's been waiting for the day. Next week is her first in-person hearing, which means I'm gonna see her in person for the first time since she killed my dad. I haven't seen her since 2019. Crazy. She was crazy. So what's funny is her attorney, when her attorney spoke to like a news outlet one time and called my TikToks cute, but worried that it's going to affect the jury pool. Are you f***ing kidding me? Okay, so when I was 15, my mom died of an underlying heart condition, and then basically my dad was out of town, and then I came home from school and I found her. So that was the start of a lot of trauma. And then after that, my dad came home and he specifically told me, don't worry, Eva, I'm never going to get married again. Well, he didn't use those exact words, but that's how I remember it. 9 months later, it was a Friday after school, and he was like, so I'm seeing this girl. And I was like, okay. And then he picked her up from the airport the next day, and I met her, and he was like, she's super cool. She's a model and a ballerina. And I was like, okay, like, cool. She's kind of hot, but I don't see the hype. She's 23, dude. Like, come on. Then I was like, all right, well, you're allowed to date. Like, you're a single man. I get it. And then the next day he was like, we need to have a family meeting. And I was like, no, because we're not a family. And the only thing that you should have to tell me is if you propose. And as soon as those words came out of my mouth, he goes, we're married. And I was like, what? After that, I just kind of like tried to get used to her, because I was like, okay, well, like, this is reality. He's married. Then after that, we took in one of my friends. She ended up living with me because she needed a place to stay. Then it was awesome. Like, things with Ashley kind of sucked, but I was like, whatever, because like I have my best friend living with me. And then shortly after she moved in, Ashley and my dad came upstairs one night and they were like, hey, you have a little sister on the way. And we were like, what? Ashley's pregnant? Which is weird because my dad got his tubes tied. After they got married, she was like, you should like reverse it. And my dad was like, okay. And apparently they weren't supposed to be able to have a kid for a while, but then boom, they had a kid. So there was a little baby on the way, and I was like, are you kidding me? Like, Dad, come on. I can't catch a break. This is freaking bullshit. After that, like, we were just dealing with Ashley, who was having a terrible pregnancy. She was sick all the time, and my dad was at work because he already had his job, and she convinced my dad to start an international ballet company. So they started like it was like this huge project, and then she got pregnant, and so then my dad had to do all the work because Ashley was like sick all the time. So he was stressed out, and I was stressed out because he was stressed out, and Ashley was like having a terrible pregnancy. And anyways, so then Ashley decides that she's gonna go live with her mom in Florida for the time being. So she went down to stay with her mom in Florida, and things got better because she was out of the picture for me and my dad. Me and my dad were so freaking close. And then one day, it was like probably a couple months later, I came home from school and my dad wasn't home. Ashley's car was just like gone from the driveway. And then I went inside and all of her stuff was gone too. And then there was a note on the bed, and I was like, fuck, all right, I'm gonna have to pick up all the pieces. I know exactly what happened. So my dad came home, he read the note, and I've never seen that man, other than the time that he cried at my mom's funeral. I could just see like the hurt in his eyes. He felt betrayed. He didn't say anything, but like I could tell he was upset. So she left him, and then things got really good. Me and my dad were like super close at this point. Then CPS and the police were showing up at my house like every single day. And so I would call my dad. Well, I remember one day specifically, the police were like crawling around my house, and I called my dad. I was freaking out. I was like, dude. And so I went and I started talking to the cops, and they were like, do you have firearms in here? And I was like, I'm not talking to y'all until my dad gets here. Sorry. So then my dad got there and things were cleared up. But then for some reason I had to like move out of my house for a couple month period of time just because I had to live with my brother. I don't really know why. Also, a lot of this, like, I did repress like a lot of this time period just because like it was pretty traumatic. I would think I was like 17 at this, 16 or 17. No, I was definitely 17 at this point. And the summer before senior year, I moved back in with my dad. I remember that. And then me and my dad still awesome, like doing great. He apparently had reconciled his relationship with Ashley, and he would go down to Florida periodically. And so I was fine with that, but I never really asked questions about him and Ashley. I just assumed they were fine. So then he decided to move to Florida full time because I was at this point 18 and I was about to start college here in Charleston. And so he was like, I'm just going to get you your own apartment, which I'm very grateful for. Anyways, he moved to Florida. I stayed here. Things were great. He texts me every single morning. He texts me a Bible verse. And so that's when I knew he was awake. And when I responded, he knew I was awake. And so then he would call me, check in for the day, see what I needed, see what he could do. Then he hadn't sent me a Bible verse that morning or a good morning. So I freaked out a little bit because when my mom died, she didn't answer her phone either. And then I found her. So I called him, no answer. I texted him a lot, actually. Here, I'll just show you. So, like, this is what I texted my dad that morning because he didn't, answer. So, immediate gut feeling, I knew something was wrong because that was so not normal. And then my uncle called me and he was like, hey, Eva, we have some bad news. And I was like, he's dead, isn't he? And they were like, how did you know? And I was like, I just had a gut feeling. Did she kill him? And he was like, yeah, Ashley shot and killed him. And so I kind of just drove to my friend's house after that, and I sat down on his porch, and all my friends were there, and I looked at them and was like, so Ashley killed my dad, and they were like, oh my god, what are we gonna do with you? And I was like, I don't know, I don't have parents anymore. So, that's basically it. I am 21 now, and I'm doing alright. But if you ever need life advice, I've kind of experienced a lot. Okay, so I forgot to mention that, so she shot and killed him. She said that it was out of self-defense because he was attacking her, but then forensics and the detectives discovered that there was no DNA, his DNA wasn't anywhere to be found on her, and her DNA wasn't anywhere to be found on him. So they're like, he didn't attack you. She pled the fifth, I think, but then her mom now has full custody of the kid. She went to jail for 17 days, but then got out on house arrest, and the trial has not started yet, which is kind of fucked up if you're asking me, because I kind of just want the trial to be over, because I want either her to go to jail. No, I want her to go to jail. And now there's a bunch of documentaries coming out about it, and maybe you'll see my life story on Netflix one day. Hey guys, if you're here from 48 Hours and you want to support me, go buy Ghost Cowboy. That's my brand. I make t-shirts. I'm here with Uncle Tommy, who is also in the show.
Just remember, the real Ghost Cowboy is Eva's dad, and he is the ghost now, and he was a cowboy from the beginning. Please support Eva if you're really interested. Her brand is amazing, and she continues to put out daily shirts, many of them going viral. Please help us when you can and support Eva in every way possible. Thanks for watching tonight. If you did come on, we're still waiting for the justice to be held and to be meted out towards Ashley, the Black Swan.
What does one wear to their late father's murderer's first in-person hearing?
Ain't got shit on me, man. I make y'all motherfuckers kill me.
Take that shit to trial. Take that shit to trial.